Hello and welcome to the Monthly Marquee. I'm your host, Bart Levins, Director from the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center. First up with us is Miss Carrie Lewis with the Hardin County Playhouse. Carrie, how are you? Keep breathing.
Keep breathing. Here we are in September. This year has gone by quickly and slowly at the same time, if that makes any sense at all.
It does. We have constantly, I can't speak for you, of course, but I find that we are constantly, everything is 2 steps forward, 3 steps back in any planning.
Exactly.
And you move forward, and then you have to pivot.
That's right.
What are things like for the Playhouse at this moment?
Pretty much the same thing. Not a whole lot going on. You know, we've got a new energetic board of directors, which we're really excited about. Some new ideas and new energy coming on board. Everything, you know, as we've discussed in the past, we've just got kind of everything sitting on the back burner waiting for the green light to move forward. So far, we don't have that green light. What we do have planned is the ghost walk that we have done every year with great success in downtown Elizabethtown. And we will be having that ghost walk on Friday night and Saturday night, the 30th and 31st of October. So we should have some new stories and some new actors, and it should be a nice, fun, spooky time for the whole family. So hopefully the weather will permit. We've been going for quite a while now with no events planned, nothing that we could really do, and we're really anxious to get back out there in the community and feel that sense of community which we have missed for so very long. So hopefully it'll be a good fundraiser for it. Tickets are $5 a person. And we've been operating all this time with no income. So I hope that people will come out and support us. If you can't come out, maybe you just want to send us, you know, some spare change. That would be fabulous too. So
now, for folks that have done the Ghost Walk in the past, how will this differ this year? I know you're talking about new cast members, some new stories and stuff, but with social distancing requirements, how will it? Do you have any plans on how that might feel different?
Yes. Well, I think in a lot of ways that might serve us better, because what we will do is have smaller groups, and we'll have more groups, but smaller groups going. So you'll probably be able to hear the stories better and to feel that kind of spooky energy a little bit better in a smaller group, and that way they can space out. They can wear their masks if they want, you know, and our actors will be very much engaged in what they're doing. So I think it'll be great fun. I think we're long overdue for a great fun experience.
Well, what a great way to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, to make that work for you artistically. That's really great.
Yeah.
And if people are interested in helping out the Hardin County Playhouse, I know that you're looking for funding to build a building.
Yes.
One of the things right now that with us unable to perform to a great extent on stage for large audiences, this is a perfect time to get that infrastructure in place. And it's a wonderful time for them to be giving money to help you raise the roof on a brand new space.
Exactly. And we were just getting started. We had a lot of very optimistic, we had a couple of good donations, and things were looking very positive until, you know, the COVID hit. And that kind of stopped everything as far as the networking that you must do in order to fundraise. And a lot of people were just so uncertain, you know, the uncertain times. Everyone was feeling it. They were concerned about business, they were concerned about employment, and certainly understandable that they are not going to, you know, start saying, hey, let's fund a community theater. I think we need it just as much as ever, if not more so. As things come back to life downtown and the restaurants get busy, and the arts is the perfect partner to those things downtown. So, you know, we do have our website and our Facebook page. There's information there on how you can, you know, submit any donation, which is tax deductible. You will get a receipt for that. And as we begin to move forward, you know, we will have more plans as the situation allows. So right now, everything, our great season has been put on hold. What next year holds, I'm not really quite sure, but you know, we hope to be up and running full steam ahead very soon, hopefully in 2021, once we say goodbye to 2020. Yay. So once we get into a new year, hopefully things will look a lot more optimistic for everybody.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that. I can't help but think. I was watching a show about the 1917 pandemic, and it is on YouTube documentary. But it made the case that once that pandemic was over, it coincided with the end of World War I and led directly into the Roaring Twenties, which was a huge revitalization of culture, artistic growth, the beginning of the film industry at its zenith in the silent movies and stuff. So maybe the other side of all of this is that opportunity for us to gather again and to celebrate in ways we can't even imagine right now.
Well, it could be the Roaring Twenties all over again.
Right? That would be fun.
You know, I mean, we're looking at, 100 years? So, I mean, that would go hand in hand. I think people will be more anxious to socialize and to have entertainment, to have fun, to have something to look forward to, and, you know, spread a little cheer and kindness, because we are obviously lacking in that these days. So I'm hoping as this year comes to a close, we get a lot more excited and optimistic about what the next year will hold for us.
And speaking of which, how can people find out what next year holds for Hardin County Playhouse?
Well, you'll have to call Cleo the psychic, because we don't even know. But no, we don't have anything solid in plans, but we will keep those things posted on our website and on our Facebook page so that you can keep up with what's going on or not going on with us. I even had someone call me the other day and said, well, do you have that building built yet? No, we don't.
Do you have a shovel?
Yeah, I do have a shovel. We don't even have a Lego set. But so, you know, everything has been on hold. And I guess for a lot of people, it's been like a time warp.
Yeah.
You know, it's been, I saw some folks that I knew in town, and it took me a few minutes to figure out what their names were. Sure. That's scary. Yeah. So I immediately went home and took my ginkgo biloba, thinking maybe it was, you know, an age thing, or maybe it's just the times we're living in. So, but it's hard to keep up with people when you don't see them and don't see their faces in public and don't speak with them. And, you know, there has been a lot of socialization that we just haven't had.
Well, if people want to keep up with the Hardin County Playhouse, where do they need to go?
They need to go to www.hardincountyplayhouse.com on the web, or find us on Facebook, because we are there somewhere, somehow. So
excellent. Thank you very much,
Thank
Carrie.
you. Appreciate it.
Next up on our show is Miss Carmen Caldera-Bratska with the Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center. And how are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing great. You know, I think one of the things we were just talking about before we went on air that I think may be of interest, or our audience might be intrigued about, is right now Elizabethtown school system is doing NTI.
Correct.
And what does that look like? What does an NTI performing arts instruction look like?
Well, as you know, we did our workshops online
over
the summer for technical theater and for acting. So we had a wonderful opportunity then to kind of try it out on a smaller scale. So it looks differently for performing arts versus technical theater.
Sure.
So performing arts, we met online for a longer period of time, but we did a lot of improvisation games, just like we would do on stage. One that they had fun with was they would look at one of their cohorts, really concentrate on them, and then that person would turn their camera off. And then they would come back, and they have changed 3 things about them. And the other students had to guess what those 3 things were. We also did...
Which builds up your observation skills.
Yes. And creativity. Yeah. Because you want to do something that they'll figure out, but not figure out too easily. And kind of put a whole character together.
And knowing some like improv exercises that I've done as a performer myself, like one of the things I could see working would be like mirror exercises, I guess. You could actually do that with the camera.
Yes. And we also did kind of a take on that where we passed a prop.
Oh. How do you do that online?
Everybody got a pencil, just a yellow pencil, and they would pass it off screen, and then somebody else would take it from them from the other side of the screen. So it looked like this pencil was passing all over the screen. So that was kind of fun for them. It made them concentrate on working with a partner.
Sure, yeah.
And also learn, camera angles and, how far can my hand go and in relation to theirs without them seeing where I'm getting my pencil from. And so they had fun with that. And we also did press conference,
Oh,
which was a lot of fun because most of them have been watching the governor's press conferences.
Okay.
So they were all in on being the reporters, and they made up their own reporter names and their own news source names. But then we would have one person who was doing the press conference, but they had no idea why they were there. So then everyone else asked
know.
the person questions. Yes, did know, and would ask the person questions. And meanwhile, the person has to answer the questions with the confidence that they know exactly why they're there, and try to figure out why they're there while they're answering the questions. So
I think I saw that on
focus.
Whose Line Is It Anyway? Something like that.
Probably.
Gotcha.
Probably. But yeah, lots of becoming characters, learning to focus, the whole improvisation, skills of coming up with it on the fly. So they had a lot of fun, and we had dozens and dozens of games that we played that way.
I think we have to be careful in our profession. It is fun, and it is games, but these are the learning tools
Exactly.
that teach them. Like, for example, one of the things we talked about, it's also not only a way to hone your craft through these improvisation skills, but there are other ways to hone your craft online as well. There's individual training,
Right.
vocal coaching. There's a wealth of material, documentary-style material that you can dig into to learn your craft as well.
Right, and that's where we focused more for the technical theater workshop. I would post a set of material, generally all videos. There were a couple of articles thrown into, and they would watch and study those. And then the next day we would come on and do a Zoom meeting for about an hour and discuss what they had watched, what they had read, how they would use what they had learned if they were a set designer or if they were designing costumes. And then I gave them a script at the beginning of the workshop to read, and they had to pick a couple of characters and design costumes for them, design a set for the scene that they were in. But then we also studied the videos that I had posted and the materials, so that they got a range of professional views.
What do you think your students, I always like to know after you've done any kind of class as an instructor, you want to be able to see where the student began and where they end.
Yes.
And see an improvement. What did you see in your students having gone through the summer courses that you're going to be applying toward the regular school courses?
Well, we don't have theater as courses.
I'm so sorry.
Ours is all extracurricular.
Gotcha.
And I can tell you how we're setting that up in a second. But what I hope to see, and what I saw just in the progress of a week, is that they started to come out of their shell more. They started, I hate the term buying in, but they bought in to we can do theater online.
Got it.
Because I think at first it was like, okay, how in the world are we going to do anything?
Yeah.
And then they saw, oh, wait a minute, we can do this. And this is kind of cool because we're usually on stage, and now we're learning about camera work and that it's different. And I think that growth.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the week, they were like, can we do one more game? Can we do one more game? And I was like, okay. And then that ended up being an extra 30 minutes of class that I hadn't thought that we were going to do, but they were enjoying it so much that they wanted to keep on. And that's, I think that was the real reward, was that they weren't looking at their watch waiting to get off camera because they're tired of it, that they wanted to stay longer and they wanted to do more.
Good. And our time is up, but if people want to learn more about what you're doing with Elizabethtown School System, how can they reach you or find out more about the club?
The best way is on our Facebook page, Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center. We also have an Instagram.
Great. Thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you.
Our PAC Kid Spotlight this month is Miss Alexis Hayes, and Alexis is a 7th grader at TK Stone. How are you today, ma'am?
I am doing very well today.
You are just getting started at school. How many days of class have you had now?
I have had 4 days of class.
And you are doing NTI, right?
Yeah.
Yay. We all love NTI.
Yeah. Sometimes.
It's better than last spring, though, for you, right?
Yes, very. A lot of teachers have learned how to use it better than last year.
Old dogs, new tricks. Yes. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you this month is you've been busy this summer doing things online. You've continued to be creative. What kind of things have you been doing?
Well, I have been very involved with the Nashville Ballet. I did some online classes with them, and then I did an online intensive. I did some classes with the Louisville Ballet, an intensive with Miss Sherry. I did some drama sessions with Miss C from my school, and I have been practicing piano a lot.
Now, as I was saying before, when we had to start over before we started over the recording, I understand what an in-person dance intensive would be. What is that like online?
It's very different, but you can still get the same benefit out of it. I learned some new things, but then it was kind of complicated because, like, I have a sort of big house, and so there's not much extra space of rooms and stuff. So we turned the office, which is what I'm in right now, into my own mini like dance studio. I have a dance bar, and then we got some Marley floor to put down, and so
Wow.
it was interesting, and it wasn't the same type of thing because the teachers couldn't correct you like they could in class. But I learned some new things, and it was definitely interesting.
Yeah, I think so much of my limited dance experience is is it's so important to have that dance instructor there in front of you to push your shoulders down and relax, raise your chin, relax your hand. There's a lot of physical connection in correcting a dancer. So I can imagine how difficult that would be. It takes a lot of patience on your part and on the teachers.
Yes, yeah.
So what was one of the things that you learned during your intensives?
Well, so I learned some new like dance moves, and I also learned how to persevere. Like I I'm sort of patient sometimes, and I stick with things, but online it's even more difficult than just a regular dance class. So I had to stick with doing those classes because I could have easily just said I don't enjoy doing this and I don't want to do this, and so I could have quit. But I stuck through the whole thing and I had a fun time doing it.
Well, I think Miss Caldera Bratska, she worked with you this summer as well. What was that like?
Well, so we did basically the same activities that we would have been able to do in person, just online. And some of them were kind of difficult to do because we did this thing where we would pass a pen and like we would make a pen a different object and then we would pass it on to somebody else. And on her screen, it was different, like we were organized in a different way than it was on our screen. Like I would
Hmm.
be next to somebody on her screen and not be the next to the same person on my screen. So it was a little difficult because we would have to pass the pen to that person, and but it was fun and got a lot of benefit, and we got to write our own monologues, and then she gave us some to read and memorize to the other group of people, and it was fun because I knew most of the people, and so I got to interact with people that I knew that I hadn't seen in a while. So
I think the socialization of going to class and seeing people in the hallways, that's a big part of, I know what I'm missing right now is seeing the kids. We've got some kids, we're with Hardin County Schools, and we've got some kids in the hallway, but it's not the same energy.
yeah.
And I also understand you got to do something with your church. Did some kind of parenting
Yes.
or something?
Yes. So for a while, my church, we did videos for our Wednesday night program. And then we decided, since so we were still in quarantine for our VBS, we decided to do these videos. And there were three main characters, and it was me and two other people from my church. And so we would go over there once or twice a week and we would record for 4 hours, and it would be a long time, but it was fun because we were all friends, and it was funny because we all had different personalities. So
Yeah, it's one of the things I like about theater is getting to meet people that you don't share the same personalities or maybe the same history, and you make these brand new friends, and you start creating your own history together.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. And you've returned to dance now, and I think it probably looks different than it used to as well.
Yes. Yeah, so Miss Sherry, she's my teacher for most of the classes. There's only one class I don't have with her, and that's modern. But it's basically, we're doing the same things that we would in a normal class. It's just that we wear a mask, we stay separated, and then we clean our bars after she mops the floor. And so it's kind of like the same class, it's just with all the social distancing rules.
Your number of people in the class smaller so you can social distance more?
Yes, so most of the time it's like 10 to 11 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had to keep some of the classes short. So like some of the people I was in classes last year, I'm not in the classes this year with some of the same people, but it's going pretty well.
And are you dancing with or without a mask on?
I'm dancing with the mask on, but she gives us mask breaks, so we all spread out around the entire classroom and face the wall, and we get to take our mask off and have a water break as well.
Wow. How is it to dance with the mask on?
It's difficult. I mean, I can still breathe. I don't wear like my heaviest mask to that class.
Gotcha.
I wear like a more breathable mask, but it still is protecting. And so it's a little hard to breathe sometimes, especially in jumps and doing like turns and all that kind of stuff, but it's doable.
Just think how strong your lungs will be on the other side of all of this.
Yes.
And how much stamina and breath control that you're going to have. You're going to be incredible. You'll be like a gazelle because you've got all of that extra energy from breathing so hard through the mask now.
Yes, yeah.
Well, what are you looking at down the road? What are you excited about in the school year or in dance? What kind of things are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm hoping this will happen. I'm not sure, but the Nutcracker.
Ah,
I
you've
love
done
doing
that for 6 years now?
Yes, I have, and I have enjoyed doing it all of those years. It's very fun and exciting. I'm hoping that we can go in person in school. That way we can try and have a drummer program this year and do a play. Might not happen though, but I also, if we can do youth theater this year, I would like to audition for that. I did the workshops last year, but we weren't able to do show this year. But yeah, I would like to audition for that. And then a while down the road, whenever I'm older, I want to try out for audition for Governor School of the Arts.
Oh yeah, that's an incredible program. Yeah, I really missed youth theater this summer. That's probably the thing that hurts the most for me right now. We had shows that had to be canceled but youth theater's the thing that really hurt. We had to cancel our musical this fall, but we'll have another musical next fall. But there'll be, that would have been your first summer in youth theater, and it would have been some kids' last summer in youth theater. So that is tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you got to love it, yeah. So time, 'cause I'm moving on the groove. 'Cause you got to love it, yeah. So time, 'cause I'm moving on the groove.
For the first time in over 5 months, we have performers on stage at the PAC for a rehearsal. And it is wonderful. In fact, it's A Wonderful Life, a radio drama based on the Frank Capra classic Christmas film. This COVID-compliant performance by 8 actors will be performed before a COVID-compliant audience, just shy of 200, on Saturday, November 7th, as a gala fundraiser in partnership with the Bound Credit Union and the support of Mark's Feed Store, as well as media partners WQXE and HCEC-TV. Now, you may well ask, what will a COVID-compliant performance look and feel like? Well, to start with, the 8 actors on stage will be isolated in their own areas 10 feet apart from each other. This distance will prohibit them from having any physical interactions with each other, but will permit them to perform without wearing masks. Audience members will also be distanced. Patrons will be able to purchase tickets in seating groups of up to 4 that are predetermined to be about 6 feet apart from other patrons. Even so, as a courtesy, we'll ask all audience members to remain masked throughout the performance for everyone's safety. In addition to the mask and the social distancing requirements, the PAC will be disinfecting the facility before everyone arrives and after they leave, and sanitizing contact surfaces throughout the event. Before entering the building, all PAC staff, performers, and audience members will have their temperatures taken to ensure that no one with a fever enters the facility. A full list of all of the PAC's COVID compliance measures will soon be available for you to review on our website and will be posted in our lobby to read when you arrive. We are looking forward to finally having our performers and our audiences sharing the same space again, and are confident that those of you who can join us for the PAC's first ever gala fundraiser performance will be in for a once-in-a-wonderful lifetime experience. Tickets for the PAC's November 7th gala fundraiser performance of It's a Wonderful Life will go on sale on October 15th. More information about our gala fundraiser will be coming soon. To keep up to date with what's happening at the PAC, sign up for our e-newsletter, The Monthly Marquee. Thank you very much.